Hey everybody, this is Eric Worre and welcome to NetworkMarketingPro.com. I'm here in Odessa, Ukraine at a awesome fish restaurant, seafood restaurant. And after we're done here, we're going to head to the Opera House and we're going to see the ballet Swan Lake. So a lot of fun things happening, interesting things around the world. Today, I want to talk to you about a really important topic that relates to all this prospecting things that we've been talking about. How you can get a third-party tool in somebody's hand, and then what do you do to follow up after that. I was taught something probably 15 years ago that was one of the most important lessons that I ever learned when it came to building my business. There's a lot of those lessons, but this is one of them. And just let this sink in. The only reason to have an exposure with a prospect, the only reason to have a meeting, the only reason to create some sort of an action is to schedule the next one. Really understand what I just said. If you use events for an example, the only reason to have the event is to schedule the next event with the prospect. You don't need to worry about closing. You don't need to worry about hard sales. You don't need to worry about any of those things. You schedule your first event, they attend. Before they leave that event, you must schedule the next one. Now the next event might be a phone call. The next event might be them reviewing materials. The next event might be them talking to their spouse and then calling you the next day. The next event might be trying the product and then you guys talking by phone. The next event might be getting together for coffee and going over the compensation plan. The next event might be a three-way phone call with somebody else. But it's so important that you don't let the experience end without scheduling the next experience, no matter what it is. And then what do you do at that experience? You schedule the next one. What do you do at that after that one? Then you schedule the next one. If you just focus on that, they will enroll or they will find their way out of the process because it's just not for them. So many people end up chasing because they don't schedule the next event. They do an event with somebody. They invite somebody to a meeting. They come to the meeting. Afterwards, the person says, you know what, it's kind of interesting. You say, okay, well, thank you. Well, we'll be in touch. And they don't schedule the next event. And because of that, now they're calling and they're saying, what do we do next? It's too late. You have to schedule the event before you leave the first event. You have to schedule the next event. So let me give you a real world example. Let's say I came into contact with you and I said, look, I have something that I'm really excited about. It might interest you, it might not, but all the information is on this DVD. If I give it to you, will you watch it? We go through the 4 steps and I give you the DVD. Okay, and we schedule the day after tomorrow. I'm going to call you back and at a specific time on your specific number, and we're going to talk about what happened. So I've scheduled the next event, okay? Let's say that you watched the DVD. Now I call you back. Did you watch it? Did you not watch it? Yes, I watched it. I still have some questions, or I want to try the product. Okay, fine. If I got you some product, could you try that product? When do you think you could try that product? Would you try it? Yes. Will you try it for sure? You go through that process. And then I say, okay, I'm going to get you some product, and then 2 days from now, we're going to talk again. Okay, what's the best number and time for me to call? So I schedule the next event. Now that's done. And now that you've tried the product, and I call you again, or we talk again, and we schedule the next event, which might be, let's get together for coffee. So we get together for coffee, and then maybe I schedule the next event. Maybe I have a little in-home meeting, or there's a local meeting in the marketplace. I schedule that event. They attend that event. They're still interested, but they haven't signed up yet. Before they leave the meeting, I schedule maybe a 3-way phone call with my upline so they can hear another person's voice. Or I give them a link that they can look at for more information about whatever it is that they're interested in. And we just go event to event to event to event to event, and it's a never-ending cycle. So if you understand this, every time you have an exposure with a prospect, the only reason to do it is to schedule the next one. If you get that, you are so far ahead of the majority of people. It takes the average person about 5 years to understand this process. If you can understand it in a shorter period of time, you're ahead of all of them. So, ladies and gentlemen, my wish for you is that you decide to become a network marketing professional, that you decide to go pro. It is a fact that we have a better way. So now, what I'm going to do is schedule the next event, which is I will see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.